Mic check 1 2. 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 What's going on, people? What's going on, people? What's going on, people? We're back once again. Random show settings. Random show settings. Random show settings. Random show settings. How you doing, people? How you doing? How you feeling? Sorry about the burps. Just drank some malt. Drank a little malt drink. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. We got everybody tuning in right now. Welcome back to the Random Show, episode number 430. Please ignore the thumbnail. I didn't update it, but it's episode number 430. Please ignore the thumbnail. I did not update it, but it's episode number 430. Day number 6 of 31. Day number 6 of 31. We are steamrolling through the days. We are steamrolling through the days like a locomotive. We're not fucking playing games. We're going to hit the 31 days. Can we hit the 500 members though? That's the major thing. Can we hit the 500 members? I'm not too sure, but we're going to go for it. We're about, I think about 120 members, I think now at the moment. Can we get to 500 members by the end of July? That's the stretch goal. That's the stretch goal. That's the stretch goal. But can we get there? Can we get there? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We got everybody tuning in. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. Appreciate all of you for hanging out with me. Appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to do so. I do not take it for granted. There's many other way more entertaining, talented, handsome, beautiful, buxom, big bummed, delightful streamers that you could be watching, but you watch me, so I do not take that for granted. Thank you so much for being here day after day after day, bad joke after bad joke, redactedness after redactedness. Me slurring my words when I'm super tired and I've been working out and doing a bunch of stuff, and I come on stream with all the energy in the world and I die after 30 minutes and I start rambling and you're still here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Try and keep those streams to a minimum, but sometimes life be lifing. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So today we've got a lot to cover. Let's just cover it straight away. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just cover what we need to cover straight away. First thing we need to cover. First thing we need to cover. First thing we need to cover. First thing we need to cover is this story. What the fuck is going on in America? Like, is it the cars? Is it the drivers? Is it a combination of the two? What's going on? Big up No Jumper. Rapper Lefty Gunplay hospitalized after car crash leaves him with multiple broken bones. Like, what the fuck is going on in America? Again, is it the cars? Is it the rappers? Is it the drivers themselves? Is it something of the above? What is happening with all these rappers crashing these luxury sports cars? Crashing them, nearly dying. It's been happening quite often, I feel like, man. Pretty scary. So let's read the statement here. Courtesy, I think, of Lefty Gunplay's record label, OTR Records. Lefty Gunplay was in a car accident early this morning around 6 a.m. PST, leading to some broken bones and minor injuries along with a totaled vehicle. Soon to be discharged, he plans on resting and healing with respects to the shows on the calendar for this month. Lefty plans on being there. Words from Lefty Gunplay. After what happened last night, I'm grateful to be alive. I will do better. I know I'm a role model for the younger generation. I wanted to apologize to my fans for the chaos as of late. That as this time, I'll be focusing on healing and being ready for my up and coming shows. So what the fuck is going on, do you think? Like, this, he has been, to be fair, I like how they're noting the crash outs. I'm wondering if that's a wake up call, but people like Lefty Gunplay, like, do you think it's like a survivor's remorse? Do you think it's inability to, what's that? I think there's a word for it, right? Where you don't accept success, where you kind of sabotage it for yourself. So I wonder is this the wake up call you need to kind of maybe lay off the drugs, lay off the drinking, maybe not be so reckless and take your career seriously? Or will it have to go further than this for him to finally get the message? Because the car, look at the car damage, bro. This guy should be dead. Look at the car damage. Look at the fucking car damage. Look at that picture. Like, look, allegedly that's him. That's his car. It's all charred and it's completely destroyed, completely totaled. Maybe the back looks more damaged than the front, so maybe he's lucky. It looks like he might have got rear-ended, maybe. some sort of rear end collision. Maybe the engine exploded. But if that was at the front, he would be dead. If that impact happened at the front of the car, he's 100% dead. But it looks like it might be something to do with the car actually. Maybe it exploded, you know? Maybe something happened. Yeah, exactly. Spooky. Based on these bars, isn't it? Yeah, definitely spooky. But it looks like maybe something happened to the car in it blowing up. What do you guys think? Fucking crazy, man. Big up Casino Cowboy. I use OBS, brother. OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's called OBS. It's available. It's free to use. I think it's available for Windows and for YouTube. Also, Windows and for Apple. Just check Just check all the flipping tutorials you need are on YouTube. If you're using Windows or using Mac, just type in how to install, how to use OBS, how to screen record, which is what I'm doing now. I'm screen recording, how to screen record, how to have different scenes, how to stream, and somebody will break it down for you. It's super easy to use, super easy. Or if you don't want to use OBS, you can use another one called StreamYard. That's like a web browser based streaming platform where you can just stream based on your browser. You don't need any software, anything at all. You can just use your regular fucking headphones and shit as your microphone if you need as well, if you got like iPods and shit. So check out. But I use OBS. But yeah, man, his car is completely fucked, completely fucking fucked. Footage shows secures the
powerful bunch.
Big up Casino.
You the man. Thank you, sir.
No problem, my bro. No problem. Happy to help. Happy to fucking help. You didn't have to send a super chat though, brother. Happy to help. Just tag me in the chat. You didn't need to send a super chat, my friend. Happy to help. Let's see. That's it, yeah? So yeah, what car is that, by the way? Is that a McLaren? That's a McLaren, right? Oh no, it's a Corvette. It's a Corvette Stingray. I want to see what that car looks like drive-wise. What does a Corvette Stingray drive? Are they hard to handle? Or big up job for MAA with car knowledge. Corvette. Yo, I'm sure he didn't lose much as far as brain cells go. Big booth. Fair play. Fair play. Fair fucking play. Hold on, let me quickly switch my accounts here. Apology. Let's go back to this one. Let's go back to that one. Bear with me a second here as I get this all nice and loaded for you. Okay, cool. Was it Corvette Stingray, right? I want to see what this car looks like. Corvette Stingray 2025. Let's see. I want to see what it looks like. How's this car handle? Is it really? Are they really difficult to drive, these cars, or something? 1.2k views. Let's see a review here. Anyone got a decent review I can check out, please? There's a drag race here. Which one should I check? Let's do. Can I just do views? Filters. Can I do with views? What should I, view count. I want to see what the top review is of this fucking Corvette Stingray. Bear with me 1 second as I check this out quickly. I want to see how it handles, how it looks. Maybe this is that a Corvette? Same one, Stingray. Okay, let's just put Corvette Stingray. Instead of put 2025. Let's do a review. Maybe I'm typing this up wrong. Let's see what comes up first. A decent review from somebody, if you don't mind. So it's that review, right? This one, here you go. Let's just type this one. Let's just check this out. Let's see what this review is saying. Big up everyone in the stream chat. Big up Younger Vibes. Big up Ason. They make modern cars fall apart like that, but it's safer for the driver apparently. Corvette looks like a Corvette Stingray C8. They go vroom with
the Corvette is an American.
Big up Younger Vibes. They go vroom with a Kibitech. That's a proper sports car, but usually it's a midlife crisis car too. Okay, cool. I grew up in. How much are they, by the way? Are they 100 grand? What were we saying price wise? 100 grand? More than that?
Icon. And this one is a convertible, so I could do some Magnum PI shit. But this car has been out for 5 years, the mid-engine Corvette. It's a bit old now, so my interior review is going to be irrelevant because next year it's getting a facelift. But I think this car has some important context for the $100,000 mid-engine sports car market. So let's talk about it.
Okay, $100,000.
For 5 years, the Corvette has been pretty much the same. The Stingray, at least, it's the same 495 horsepower with performance exhaust. If you don't get the performance exhaust, you get 490 horsepower. But 6.2 liter small block V.
By the way, you guys are all right, innit, about the car content world, right? I've never heard of this guy. This is a channel called Motor One. 200,000 subscribers. This video has like 1,200 views only. And look how well produced it is. You know, clear microphone. The guy seems very charismatic, very engaging. You know, he's not mushed mouth. He's explaining stuff very well. You know, decent channel. So the car industry, whatever YouTube genre space is so crowded. It's almost impossible for Brendan to be a success there because he's not the best presenter. He's mush mouth. You know, he's doing shitty things anyway. So it's like he came into one of the most highly competitive parts of YouTube where there's tons of great channels that exist that I've never heard of that are producing great, well done, well produced fucking videos reviewing the latest cars, and they're getting hardly any traction. Imagine fucking Brendan thinking he's gonna get people to give a fuck that he's adding some fucking Kibitech engine to some 40-year-old Hummer. No one gives a shit, bro. So yeah, respect to everybody in the stream chat and let me know about that.
Cam in block goodness. It's not like the Z06 or the ZR1, which has 4 cams now, which is Corvette blasphemy, just like the mid-engineness of it. But I think we're all used to it by now. It's the days of the C7 and the C6 are far behind us, and now I'm used to this Corvette. I'm used to this just being.
Big up Jack Donny Jr. Car content is one of the most boring places on the internet. No, I like car content. Maybe because I come from like an engineering type background. Like when I first started. When I kind of first got the grip of drawing, or I realized I was good at drawing, the first thing I always used to draw was cars, car interiors. That's the one thing I wanted to do when I was actually growing up, be a car designer. I was drawing car interiors, doing car design. I went to like a good college that did graphic design too. Was meant to study that actually in uni, industrial design, but I ended up going to do product design at Central St. Martin's. I didn't actually get into the industrial design course. Actually, that was the best one in the country. It was Loughborough University. I didn't actually get into that one. I ended up getting into Central St. Martin's, which is equally as hard, but you know, I think Loughborough is the one where people actually go and work for like these big fucking electrical brands, these big automobile brands and shit. So I love it from that aspect, from the design aspect of it. As we're, to be fair, modern car design is pretty shit compared to what it was many years ago, but I don't know, I like cars for that, for the design aspect of it. I don't even like driving, like, you know what I mean? Like, once this stuff starts popping up for me and I become fucking Kai Cenat famous, I'm more likely to open up a nightclub than I am to buy a car. Like, I don't really give a fuck, you know? Like, I'm not really interested in cars in the slightest, like to drive them myself, but I like looking at them, you know? I like the engineering, love the design about them. I love the sound. And sometimes the content can be quite calming. I remember there was a time where I was on my like I was on my JB, is it what they call JMM, those Japanese cars, right? I was on that sort of tip, and I'd watch tons of content of people driving like crazy Porsches, you know, down the street, drifting, cutting in. Is it JDM? That thing, yeah? I was into that for a bit. I watched a ton of that sort of stuff. Like watching people's car collections is really good as well. I quite like to see people's car collections. You know, you see there's some people that have some real money out there. So yeah, I don't know. I quite enjoy car content, but I guess it's one of those things. If you don't really like cars, like just watching, I don't know. Is there anything more depressing than being on a bus and watching an amazing car video about some new Range Rover that you can't afford? It's like you're on a bus right now, you know.
A mid-engine sports car Corvette, which is really strange. Design is subjective, but I think there's some objective beef I have with this car. So the wheels are too small for the body, so it looks all a bit hapless. This very strange amount of fender on here for a mid-engine car. There's no engine to worry about, so I don't know why they didn't sink that down. The front end is very tall. For some reason, it's almost like a front engine car with the amount of area here, and there's big radiators up front, which are great for cooling, a bit awkward for design. But my biggest beef with this car is over on the side. This massive slash in the cheek of the car, and then this. God, I don't like this. Just big square, whatever, and then this huge extension in the back for the trunk.
Maybe because it's a mid-range sports car, but it does look very substantial, isn't it? Maybe that's how they designed them. There's a lot of extra panels. It's not very sleek and low to the ground. It kind of looks like a pretend sports car, if that makes any sense. But I still like it though. It's still fucking great. Corvettes are, I don't know, I like how they make them for like boy racers in a way, you know? They're kind of very aggressive. You know what a Corvette looks like actually? You know, this is gonna make, if this makes sense to you. Do you know like when you go to like a fucking supermarket and in the aisle where they sell deodorants and stuff, there's usually a very clear distinction between male deodorant and women deodorant. I feel like Corvettes look like male deodorant. Like they've got the extra lines, they're dark in colors, they've got these triangles, they've got these aggressive like diamond type shapes, you know? It's kind of like, this is a man's spray. I feel like Corvettes look like that. Corvettes look like, this is a man's car. Men, you know? There's something about how they design it is very male coded.
I just think this car doesn't look great as a Stingray. It has to be a Z06 or a ZR. I want that width to make it work. It's still an awkward looking object. It looks very much like a first attempt at a mid-engine sports car, which this is for Corvette. But if you're into it.
Yeah, let me guys know in the stream chat, what are your favorite cars? And I'll tell you mine. My favorite car, one of my favorite cars, you'll probably be surprised what it is. But let me know in the stream chat what your favorite car is. What your favorite car is.
I won't fault it. It looks cool if you're into the maximal aesthetic. Then
and please try and be unique. You know what I mean? Don't be, oh, Ferrari, Tesla, whatever. Have a unique choice.
There's this interior which I think has aged really well. And look at us, we're in the shade now where it's nice and cold and I could show you the entire thing. Same basic setup as in 2020. You have 2 screens in front of you, nice big LCD display that's reasonably nice, good refresh rate-ish, kind of. It's a bit slow sometimes. This is the part that ages it. This tiny center setup that it just looks so old, but that's gonna get fixed next model year with the big Cadillac hyperscreen. So that criticism is moot. You don't have to worry about that. The rest of it, really nice. The fit and finish is lovely. It feels special and exotic in here. $600 competition bucket seats, which are worth the money. Feels nice, no rattles, quiet with the top up, lovely top-down aero. This is a great place to actually spend time. The cockpit feel is maybe not for everybody. If you're a bigger person, I can see how you might.
It looks comfy though, I'm not gonna lie. It looks kind of comfy on the inside. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very comfy on the inside,
not
bro.
Fit in this. It's really narrow in here and it's kind of fitted around you. Even for me, I'm not a large.
Never driven it, don't even know what it looks like or sounds like, but it looks like a comfy ride.
Person and feels like a small cabin. Might not be for you, but I enjoy it. Feels special, feels fitted. Don't love this steering wheel. They need to make this a circle, not a square. Idiotic, stupid. The paddles are obnoxious, listen. It's the loudest paddle shift I've ever heard. Otherwise, in this incredible orange on orange spec, the outside and the inside, special place to be, exotic place to be. Normally, I'd show you the engine right now.
Big up Ason. I'm not autistic, so no favorite car. I want anything that works on the key turns. Wouldn't that be the definition of autistic though, my friend? Wouldn't the tism be that you don't have a favorite and you just want anything that fucking drives?
But it's under a cover under the tonneau. It doesn't really look like anything, so I think we should just go for a drive. Before I set off, I have to put the top up because it's really windy and you won't be able to hear me. So there's the mechanism. You can do it up to 30 miles an hour. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it works. Takes a bit. Still going. And windows up, we're good to go.
Driving, okay.
First thing you do, I set up Z mode. So I have Z mode set up with a bunch of the sports stuff, but with soft dampers. But for the canyons right now, we will do track. I
don't like the screen dial though. I want to have an actual dial, you know, an actual speedometer. I don't like it being on a screen. This modern thing that they do now to kind of cut costs, I fucking hate. Give me an actual speedometer. Don't give me a screen speedometer. Like, I mean, come on.
Mode, which is the most aggressive. Put it on D, manual. Why don't we do a little launch control?
Oh, the front looks good.
Press and hold brake. And let's go.
Woo!
Okay.
It's good.
Shift's pretty hard.
Looks good.
Damn, the launch control shift is fun. It like kicks you into gear. Huh? Anyways, Corvette. Immediate first thing about this.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I take back my criticism. Stationary, it doesn't look too great. In motion, as it's driving down the street, that fucking low profile, those aggressive lines, I'm on it. I think this Corvette's really nice, but I think stationary, it looks a bit weird. When you kind of look at it too much and it's like just parked up, it looks a bit dodgy. Too much material and fucking panels everywhere. But when it's actually on the road, woof, it looks fucking good.
This car is the gearbox. The gearbox is lovely. It's a Tremec TR 9080 dual clutch 8-speed, specifically made for the Corvette, and it's really good. I'm like amazed. It's like PDK beating, I'd say, almost. Maybe not in emotion, but in terms of snappiness, the upshifts are ridiculously fast. The downshifts, pretty quick. Porsche dual clutch, sorry for anyone who is wondering what PDK is, which is the de facto industry standard. The downshifts aren't as snappy as PDK, and definitely there's not a big blip on downshifts. So there's not a lot of emotion there.
I'm not the biggest fan of that color combo though. Whether that color is on the body and the interior, I fucking hate it. That color combo is awful with the orange seat, yuck. But it's a nice car, man.
But the upshift, instant, snappy, fast. Let's see you.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good car, man. Come on, that's a good car. Fuck off. Big up everyone in the stream chat. Give me your favorites. What's some of your favorites here? In 9 inches, 8 inches. Big up Apex Pata and Thick Nectar. You guys are fucking immature and silly, but I love it. Big up My Nuts, Dodge Viper. MH Susio says Audi RS3. Nice one. SLS AMG. Yep, nice one. Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 Twin Turbo. Big up Killer Demo. Cadillac Escalade. Yeah, that's actually a good one, to be fair. Escalade is actually a good choice. Nissan Skyline, legendary car. Big up Jordan Ray. I like what Joe Rogan likes. I like what Joe Rogan likes. Sorry, Joe Rogan likes. It's fucking hilarious. What else have you got here? My big up Joe for MIA. My two are the 1996 Mazda RX-7 and a Porsche GT3 RS. Yeah, I saw somebody Porsche GT3 RS the other day, actually. There's so many G-Wagons. Honestly, I live in a very poor part of London. My borough is one of the poorest boroughs in London. But I see so many G-Wagons. And I saw a GTRS today, actually. A Porsche, all black. Beautiful. Big up Brian. I've never really been a Corvette fan, but the new models do look better since they've changed the engine. Big up Apex Putter. Dropped to C67 C10. AZ, my neighbor has a 2025 Corvette Z06 Cacti green. It looks pretty darn nice, lovely. Okay, cool. I'll show you my one. This is my favorite car of all time. A really strange choice though, but look at this. Mercedes CLS. I think it's a 500, right? Is it from 2000? It's either 2000 or 2002. Yeah, that's the one. See, and I watched the video too. This is my favorite. This is my favorite car of all time. This Mercedes CLS. I actually watched the video as well, so yeah, you can tell I'm a Mercedes CLS fan. When this first came out, this is my favorite car. I'd get this is the car that I'd actually get if I, you know what I mean?
No,
if I was going to drive, I'd get this in silver. I'd get it in silver with like tinted blue windows or something, you know, drug dealer chic and big silver rims. It's fucking gorgeous.
Very, very interesting new car in the studio this week. It's over here. Have a look at this. This is the new Mercedes CLS.
Now, it's available with either a 3.5-litre V6 or a 5-litre V8 engine. Goes on sale next year. We expect prices will start from about £45,000. But, and here's the really interesting thing, it comes with an automatic gearbox that has 7 forward speeds. And for reasons we just can't quite fathom, 2 reverse speeds.
Yes, that's very interesting, Hammond. But this is more interesting, I think. It's the styling of the thing. Have a look. It's been made to look like a very svelte coupe. But it is actually a 4-door, and more to the point, the doors are pillarless. How cool is that? For some reason, that's just, I don't know, fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
I think if we were doing the cool wall this week, we could have our first cool Mercedes.
Quite possibly. Okay.
Big up Mage in Blue. What do you say? Bro, I have a... What do you have? What does Mage in Blue have? Mage in Blue has a what? A 350D. You have a 350... You have a 350D V6, yeah? Let's see if someone's got that. Big up Mage in Blue. Let's see what you got. What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? A 350... Ooh, hello. Look at you. Look at Mage in Blue. Fucking balling out here. Balling. Let's see what your car looks like. CLS 350D, yeah? Nice, brother. Nice. Oh yeah, I remember Fifth Gear. I remember Fifth Gear. This is a good show. Did you guys remember watching Fifth Gear? A very, very good car show, man. Underrated. I don't think it's on anymore. Does Channel 5 even exist? I don't think the Channel 5 still exists, but yeah. Good car show.
The team tested the Mercedes CLS 350 CDI.
Sport.
This revamped version of the Big Merc cost £53,000 and promises all the fun of a coupe with all the space of a saloon. Car looks great, really.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the CLS that I want. Like you said, it's a bit more beefed up in it. It's a little bit more. It's got a little bit more muscle on it. My CLS looks like a fucking long distance runner. Your one looks like a fucking weightlifter, innit? Or a CrossFit athlete.
Aggressive starts, nice new front. Handsome looking brute, though, isn't it?
It is.
I love the old CLS, and I love the new one even more. It's a classy car.
Look, I mean, I bet you didn't expect one of these in Mercedes. That is impressive.
What actually is it?
Oh, she'll demonstrate. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
The others didn't seem too impressed with my little hooks for the carrier bags, which I thought were very useful in the boot.
Are you
That's really cool. I ain't mad at that. That's
Others
really
didn't seem
fucking
too
cool.
impressed with my little hooks for the carrier bags.
That's a cool little idea in it, in the boot. That's actually a really handy fucking addition. I'm sure you can add it aftermarket. You can actually attach one, maybe stick it on there, drill it on. But that's a really fucking cool idea, just to be able to hang your shopping baskets like that or your shopping bags like that when you come back from shopping.
Powerful bunch.
That's really cool. Big up Asadaziz.
Tell 'em about Fourth Garabee, my fave show growing up.
He's so stupid. It's so stupid. Big up Asadaziz. You're so fucking dumb.
Which I thought were very useful in the boot.
Are you telling me that one of the main reasons you buy a 4-seater, 4-door coupe is so that you can hang bananas in the boot?
Yes.
I think that they could have made something much more special.
She was great as well. Big up this presenter. She was really fucking good, man. This show was very underrated, ahead of its time. Fifth Gear. Big up Fifth Gear.
The dash itself.
These dials and switches are across every single Mercedes-Benz. There is nothing
Love it, love it. No digital. Look at that. Tactile buttons, man. Give me this shit makes my dick hard. Tactile dials, buttons, switches, flicks. Like, oh, love it, man. Love it. No fucking touchscreens, no iPads. Fucking love it.
Makes me think, oh yes, I'm in a CLS.
And it has got the sort of crap middle-aged man's wristwatch clock.
There are elements of the interior quality that are a bit disappointing, I have to say. I mean, I don't like that.
But I don't tend
I
to
love
hit
that.
roller shutters.
Yeah, it's very well thought out. It's designed well. I like the colour. I like brown leather.
With a man wearing a pillow and an awful shirt, I think fashion and design is probably not your forte today, Mr. Plato.
As a nice, desirable, comfortable car that feels right, I love it.
Right, come on, shall we go and kick its arse then?
I was quite surprised how good it was. I mean, my dad's got the older version, and that is a little bit of a bus. And this was a big step forward.
It's got 25% more torque than the equivalent Audi A7.
Sitting in the back with Jason hurling it left and right, it did feel like there was a bit of excessive body roll.
No, look at that roll, look, again.
I'll be active.
We were driving it.
I like that though, man. It's a fucking big car, but it moves. You know what I mean? I like that. But to carry it around the corners, I fucking love that.
Any CLS owner is ever going to drive that car. And I think it handled brilliantly.
It's quite sprightly, isn't it?
Oh, I can't believe I thought we weren't going to make that then. Oh, what's this here?
Oh, here's the airtime.
It flew well,
Oh, that was big.
which is handy.
You know, this is not Dukes of Hazzard, is it? Let's be fair.
Wow.
That was lunacy.
I have never been so high over that jump before.
And
It was wicked.
While its main rival, the Audi A7, does have a nicer interior, the Merc looks
Nah, fuck the Audi. Fuck the Audi.
sexier, uses less fuel, and is more fun to drive. So the Mercedes CLS 350 CDI Sport gets 8.5.
well done, Merc. You've done a good job revamping the CLS, which is why I've given it a 9.
CLS scores a fantastic 9.
I'm going to give the Mercedes CLS a score of 8.
Nice.
That's 8.
Fair play, fair play. I love it. I love it. I love that car. Big up Major in Blue. Nice whip you got there, my friend. Big up Major in Blue. Nice whip you have there, my friend. Moving on. Rogan talking about Gaza. Is Rogan offered the Trump wave already? It's not even halfway through yet of the Trump presidency, and it looks like Rogan's already having some doubts about putting all of his chips on the MAGA train, right? About hitching his wagon on train MAGA. about being a staunch Trump defender. Rogan is questioning everything.
What they've done to Gaza is fucking insane.
It's insane.
And if you can't see that, if you can't say that, and your response is, Israel has the right to defend itself. Like, what are you talking about? Against what? Children?
Right.
Against women and children that are getting blown apart? Against aid workers that are getting killed?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't have a rational conversation if you're not willing to address that.
Yeah. You see what's happening in Gaza, even yesterday,
Yeah. Yeah, the people that were waiting for food got bombed.
Yeah.
It's insane, and no one wants to talk about it.
Right, but if you
do talk about it, you're anti-Semitic, which is so strange. Like, I don't know how they wrangled that.
Wow, he's finally having a come to Jesus moment. He's finally figured it. But I don't know. Rogan's weird. I'm not even too sure if he blames Trump for this. Like he probably divorces it from the Trump regime. He probably sees it in the silo. This is a bad thing. I feel bad for the Palestinians, but he doesn't ever make the connection that, yeah, but Trump is funding this war. Trump's government anyway, at least, right? Trump's regime is funding this war. Trump hasn't come out and said, and basically, Trump is basically giving his undying support to Israel. Dragging America into another war, sending over missiles, all this malarkey, the stuff happening in Syria. Like, I wonder if he's actually making the connection, or if it's just him criticizing what's going on in Palestine whilst remaining a staunch defender of Trump. Because I don't know, even I guess the most enthusiastic Trump people must be a little bit concerned with all the warmongering as of late. It's taken away from the focus of a lot of things that Trump was kind of running on. Maybe he'll get around to it in general. Maybe later on he'll get around to kind of fulfilling some of the policy promises that he put out there while he was running. But it seems like he's been somewhat distracted with all the war and everything else going on. But I guess, unfortunately, war does make a lot of money, so maybe that's why he's focused on it, being the consummate businessman, quote unquote, that he is. But it does look like Rogan is opening his eyes slightly.
Powerful bunch.
Big up, Sodasies.
If Obama didn't do what he did in World War II, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow it's Obama's fault. Exactly. BERT Cranber, I told him I watched a podcast. I told him the best day. Oh yeah, sorry. BERT Cranber, I forgot to mention that. You mentioned it. BERT Cranber said that who do you see, Cranber? Cranber, I met Eric Griffin and his wife and the kid in the shopping center in Valencia, California, where I live, the other day. Oh, big up, Cranber. He looked in a bad mood, but he greeted me and introduced me to his wife. He was nice, but I could tell he dreaded me engaging with him. Oh, okay, fair play. At least he was nice about it, though. He doesn't need to like it. Like, I don't know. Me personally, I'm not really asking my, celebrities or people that I go up to enjoy meeting me, because who would, right? You're doing your own thing and then suddenly some annoying fan comes up to you. You don't have to enjoy it, but just go through the motions. You know what I mean? Go through the motions. Let me get my picture. Let me have my quick little interaction with you, and you can go about your job. I'm not going to come home with you. I'm not going to fucking follow you around. I just want to be acknowledged. I think that's what DJs miss, especially the DJs in my area, in my kind of field. They've got, DJs have the craziest egos. They're not even that famous. And like, you try and say hi to them in real life and they legitimately ego you or big time you. So weird. It's like, bro, just say hi back. Just let me get this quick selfie. Let me get my likes and shit. Let me get my clout up and you can go on your way. You don't have to be smiling and doing backflips while doing so. You don't even need to hug me or shake my hand. Just acknowledge I said hi. So big up Eric Griffin for replying back and being courteous, although he was probably mid argument, post argument with fucking Rachel. He fucking hates that woman, so that's probably why. Yeah, Kramer now, but I did tell him I got introduced to him by Brendan, and he looked legit sad when he told me Brendan moved to Austin. When he told me, okay, fair play. I told him I watched a podcast. I told him have a blessed day, and he told me have a great day. Okay, fair play. That's good to hear. So far, I've met Chappelle Lacey, Brendan Schaub, Chin, now Eric Griffin, all by accident in public. Valencia is part of the Los Angeles CA. It's a small world in LA. Okay, fair play, man. Fair fucking play. Out of everybody, Chappelle Lacey was the nicest. Of course he was the nicest, man. He's the fucking golden retriever, that guy there. Always fucking too much happy and joy and laughing for me. That type of guy. The type of person that would do unthinkable things to keep that smile on his face. But hey, big up Crambo. Big up your interactions. I love to hear it, brother. Next article here, again, courtesy of Gizmodo. Joe Rogan feels Trump betrayed him on immigration. Let's give courtesy of Gizmodo. Let's hear what they say here. Joe Rogan's one of the most influential voices in the American media, is turning on Donald Trump, and the reasons cuts deep: immigration raids. Rogan, who endorsed Trump just hours before the 2024 presidential election, now says that he was misled by the man he helped to boost into office. The podcast and UFC commentator, known for giving a platform to anti-cancel culture figures and free speech advocates, is now accusing Trump of betraying the very values you can. Again, what does this even mean? Honestly, do media outlets think this works? When you say stuff like this, known for giving anti-cancel culture figures and free speech advocates, now, like, that doesn't work anymore. Like, having a conversation with somebody isn't you advocating for, like, I don't understand this tactic that they try and like demonize people in the media. It's like, if anything, Rogan does a good job of demonizing himself with the things that he says. You don't need to like preface or, you know, what he's about to say, his podcast, describe it as like a platform for like the, you know, the people are on the fringes of society, the dangerous dozen. It's like, bruh, it's not that deep, man. It's not that deep. Anyway, it continues. We were told there would be, Rogan began during a July 2nd episode before trailing off. There's two things that are insane. One is targeting migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up at construction sites, raiding them, gardeners. Like, really? Ah, so it's starting to affect him, I guess, isn't it? Maybe some people in his little friendship group, maybe some other rich millionaire, billionaire type people are now starting to complain about these ICE fucking immigration things, right? And he's now being made aware of it, and he's now being upset by it because it's maybe affecting his bottom line or his friend's bottom line. That's why he's annoyed. But it's just funny for somebody that says he's got a, what's that? What did Rogan say? He's got a good bullshit meter, right? He can spot bullshit, he can smell it. No one can fucking pour the wool over his eyes. He gets fooled pretty easily on a somewhat consistent basis. For somebody that said he's got a good bullshit detector, it doesn't seem to work around Trump for some reason. His guest Amjad Masad, a Palestinian founder and CEO of coding platform Reply, agreed. The two were discussing the Trump administration crackdown on immigration, especially the context of escalating tensions over Gaza. Masad brought up recent reports on immigration and customs officers targeting Palestinian students and immigrants on flimsy pretenses. ICE are targeting Palestinians. Jeez, so basically doing the jobs of fucking the Israeli government. Nice to see. Did you see the video of the Turkish student at the Tufts University who wrote the essay? Rogan responded, incredulous. It was just a critic of Israel, right? And that's enough to get you kicked out of the country. The two were referencing growing concerns that lawful political speech and especially criticism of Israel is increasingly being used as grounds for visa cancellations and deportations. But again, have you noticed in this article, have you noticed in what they're writing, he still is not condemning Trump. He's condemning these instances and these situations, thinking maybe he can speak some sense into Trump and he can see the light. But he's not condemning the administration that's vetoing and approving and whatever some of these actions. So maybe he's not fully gone yet. Maybe he still thinks he can maybe get through to the guy. Rogan's endorsement and regret. Back in November 2024, Rogan endorsed Trump, the great and powerful Elon Musk. If it wasn't for him, we'd be fucked. Rogan wrote, he makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. One of the worst tweets ever. The beginning of the end of Joe Rogan podcast, man. It's not been the same ever since, to be fair. While he made it clear he would never vote for Kamala Harris, Rogan now feels duped. The immigration policy he thought he would focus on violent criminals has instead become a broader crackdown on immigrant communities, including legal residents. From America First to Fear. During the campaign, Trump vowed mass deportations of undocumented immigrants, but insisted the focus would be on criminals and gang members. He rallies featured mugshots of alleged MS-13 members. Oh, did you guys see that mix-up that he did? Where I think there was a picture of somebody's fingers, right? And somebody had written MS-13 under the logo, no, under each finger, right? To, correspond with the four fingers. And I think Trump thought the symbols meant MS-13. Or I think it translated MS-13. when it was just like a writing underneath the thing. It was just fucking hilarious. I remember seeing that. But now that he's back at the White House, reality looks different. According to recent court filings, IS data, many of the people being arrested and deported have no criminal record. The discrepancy is what's pushing Rogan to speak out. He's built his brand around authenticity and free speech. Trump's current approach, he suggests, smells more like authoritarianism. I can't say that. Than policy. Fascism is the response almost always against communism, said Rogan, quoting Anthony Rispo. What we experience in this country is continued overcorrection to the left and then overcorrection to the right to counter that. In other words, Rogan is wondering if Trump's policies are an overcorrection to the far right and if they resemble fascism more than freedom. Fucking hell.
Yes, I was watching this psychology student from I think he's from Columbia, but he has a page on Instagram. I wish I could remember his name because he's very good. He's a young guy, but he had a very important point, and it was essentially that fascism rises as the overcorrection response to communism, and that we essentially had this Marxist communism rise in first universities, and then it made its way into business because these people left the university and then found their way into corporate America, and then they were essentially instituting this. And then the blowback to that, the pushback, is this fascism.
And that happened like last century?
No, well, they're talking about
now,
forever, historically. He's talking about like over time, whether it's Mao, whether it's Stalin. Like fascism is the response almost always to communism.
Interesting.
And that, what we experience with this country is this continual overcorrection to the left, then overcorrection to the right to counter that. And the people that are that's the guy. Anthony Rispo. That's it. Really, really smart guy and very interesting thing. Jamie, how'd you nail that quick? Good job, buddy.
You said those words right as I saw them.
Decades of training.
Yeah.
Communism, fascism.
Yeah, communism came first, fascism came in response. Now today's left tears down norms and destabilizes the country under the guise of progress. We're watching the conditions for another reaction build. History doesn't repeat, but it echoes. Yeah.
Do you know?
So yeah, he's finally waking up, I guess. It's sooner rather than later, I guess. Slowly but surely. But to be fair, I don't think anyone's waiting for Trump to wake up. Do you know what I mean? For Rogan to wake up. I think people already knew what Trump was about before the election. I think some people voted for him just because he was the better option out of Kamala, which is understandable. But I don't think anyone was under any false pretense about who that guy was, what he represented, what he was going to do. I think Rogan's the one who's kind of having this like moment of like clarity. But I think most sensible voters, most sensible Americans knew what time it was. They probably didn't think it would be this bad, but I don't think they're suddenly having this come to Jesus moment. They knew who the guy was. Musk, Doja, and the fracture of the Bro Alliance. Rogan's disillusionment mirrors that of Elon Musk, another former Trump ally. Musk, who was headed the now infamous Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has become one of Trump's fiercest critics since Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Bill, a legislation that slashed EV subsidies, immigration protections, and environmental incentives. Musk is now threatening to start a third political party, and he has already. It's going to be called the America First one, I think. And while Trump can afford to ignore the Tesla CEO's rebellion, he can't easily brush off Joe Rogan. Why? Because they share the same audience. Disaffected men, anti-establishment voters, young libertarians, and people tired of traditional politics. If the group is forced to choose between Trump and Rogan, the outcome could significantly impact the 2026 midterm elections and future political landscapes.
Powerful bunch.
Big up, Theodore. Appreciate
Joe
you.
is stuck in 2020. His brain is permanently warped after too many doses of ivermectin.
100% agree. 100% agree. I don't know, man. I feel like would the American public really side with Rogan and be Trump, or would they just not listen to Rogan anymore because he's full of shit? Because look how long it's taken him to get to this position in the first place. I think a lot of MAGA people are already off of Donald, especially with that H-1B visa stuff and whatever else it may be, the warmongering. There's not a lot of isolationism kind of approach going on when it comes to foreign stuff and whatever else it may be. So I'm not too sure that's true. I'm not too sure the MAGA lot would actually side with Rogan. I think they'll probably wait for another option to come up, but I don't think they're necessarily going to side with Rogan. I think, if anything, the last few years, I think Rogan's stock, Rogan's cachet, Rogan's power, influence when it comes to politics and anything else has kind of waned. I think people have been able to see that. This guy's kind of an idiot. He's not as smart as people think he is, you know? He doesn't really get it. You know, it takes him a while to get it. And, you know, and by the time he does get it, it's too late, kind of thing. Because how long has it been since he didn't really even, you know, get other people on board to kind of do other things as well? So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. But at least it's there, I guess, in some respects. What you're saying in the stream chat, the pushback is fascism is supported. The pushback is the fascism, so I supported and endorsed it. It's hilarious. Big up the Black American, but we've never been anywhere close to communism. They called seatbelts communism, DUI laws are communism. These people are done. Very good point. Big up Asad Aziz. Rogan thinks Trump is Anunnaki in the White House. It's built up a UFO. Big up Joe from Maye. More people vote for Trump than listen to Rogan. Yeah, basically. There we go. Okay. There we go. Big up Joe from Maye. I think that's the truth. Oh, Jesus Christ. Trump, is it not Joe Rogan who now exactly about Major Blue, Brian? Trump lost me when he bombed Iran. Yeah, I think he lost a lot of people like that as well. Big up Black American. I'll be watching, but he did call Terrence Howard a genius. Okay, cool. Good point. Good point, Black America. Yeah, the Terrence Howard thing is fucking hilarious. He did call Terrence Howard a genius. Is fucking hilarious. Oh, yeah. Rogan has to clean his own house now that the illegals hitting get kicked. Yeah, fair play. Fair fucking play. Let's move on. Every time Joe Rogan brings up COVID for the 9 billionth time.
So few children in Japan that like in 3 generations they could be in real trouble. Like the number of people that will have a grandchild right now is significantly lower than it ever has been before.
Ask you a question?
Yeah.
What the fuck's it got to do with me? I don't give a fuck about the Japs. You understand? What the fuck is wrong with you, Joe?
He needs more Joe Diaz in his life, innit? You see his face. You see how like hurt and offended he was that Joey wasn't fucking licking his dick or asking him questions like, oh my god, really? Wow. Japan birth rate, definitely. Like, what? Please tell me more. Like, he was really kind of put back, set back, surprised, you know, aghast that Joey Diaz wasn't enabling or encouraging these fucking what you call it, marijuana induced fucking clairvoyant sessions. It's like, come on, allow it, man, allow it, please, allow it. I've got my own worries to fucking worry about day to day. I don't need to be concerned about what's happening, the ins and outs of Japan, you know? That's not where I need to be right now. Big up Joey Diaz. What a legend. Moving on. He may never big up a Apologia Comedia. This is actually a really good channel. They don't put out a lot of videos, but when they do, they're really fucking good. So big up Apologia Comedia. What? What's going on here? I'll play this after too. Antihero podcast drops a big Tim Kennedy bombshell. Let's play. I want to play that one next. Let's do the Apologia Comedia first, though, and I'll play the Tim. Actually, let me play that one first, and then I'll do the Apologia Comedia. What's this Tim Kennedy bombshell?
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have a very interesting addition, if you want to call it that, to all the insane Tim Kennedy stuff that has been going on recently. And of course, as we know... Oh yeah, I did hear, before he continues, I did hear somebody say that he's going to get stripped of something, right? The lies have got so bad that he's going to get stripped of something. I don't know what it was, something to do with the army. Some sort of rank or something. He might be actually formally stripped of it. It seems like there's a new story coming out every single day. It seems like there is a new piece of information that is coming out every single day as mounting allegations of stolen valor. Wow. Exaggerating. No, big up Honor Bridge.
Yeah, I do know roughly. I didn't watch all the Antihero podcast stuff, to be completely honest, but I do know roughly that he's basically a liar and the whole book is full of lies and shit or exaggerations. I did watch a bit of that clip of his was it his general commander, that white dude, the big one, who said that he beat him up during one time because he was getting a bit too cocky and big for his bridges, and he didn't have a lot of nice things to say about him. So I kind of get the general premise, but I don't know it in exact detail.
War stories, fabricating war stories, admitting on Instagram to unaliving women and children.
So I wonder what they're gonna say then. I wonder what Brendan and Brian are gonna say if the actual army decides to fucking disavow him and really pour cold water on some of his claims that he killed men, women, and children and take away some of his rank. I wonder what they're gonna say, these fucking cunts. Especially Brendan. Oh, my whole family served in the military. Okay, if the military say he's no good, what are you going to do? Still defend him?
We've hit a breaking point, it certainly feels like. And we have a video I'm going to play today from the Antihero podcast, their live stream on Thursday night, that I think you guys are going to find insanely interesting. And I'm really eager to see where we go from here next. Before we get into this video, everything we're going to break down, we're going to pull up a couple things here. Before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. As always, totally free, costs you guys nothing, is a huge boost in the channel. Comment with all your thoughts below. I'm responding to as many as I can. Hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. And then you'll see on the bottom ticker where you can follow me on Instagram and X. My Instagram is loaded right now with Tim Kennedy clips, just outrageous claims, outrageous stories. We're bringing this all to light. We are not going to back down. This is only what seems like the beginning of just how far this situation could go. Now, I want to start by saying, let's be clear about some things here.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is questioning people or attacking people for having awards. I know Rob O'Neill threw that claim out there, directed at me. That's not what's happening here. If you're honest about your awards, nobody has an issue with it. If you're honest about your military record, nobody has an issue with it. This is about a person who is facing credible allegations from teammates and others based on things he personally said is not being true, as being fiction, as saying he unalived women and children. These are incredibly serious allegations. And I have to give all the credit in the world to the people that blew this open from the start.
Honestly, bragging that you killed women and children in a book is fucking insane, isn't it? just when you just think about it, right? Like writing a fucking memoir about your experience in the army and speaking from a place of like glee and whatever of yourself that you killed men, women, and children, is innocent ones, right? Non-combatant, is fucking hilarious.
And that was the Antihero podcast. There were whispers before they dropped their first podcast that Tim's stories weren't accurate, but nobody had really openly pushed that hard. Nobody had said, you know what? I'm going to go through this with a razor. I'm going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this situation. And once they dropped their first episode, and then a second episode came out with his teammates, it was off to the races from there. And now the issue is back in the news, has flared up again, and it seems like...
Exactly, Brian. All the guys that I know actually saw combat never talk about it, let alone brag about it. Exactly. I remember that was the one thing I remember from big up fucking what's his thing, Top Dog, right? Tom Segura's dad. Whenever he had him on the podcast and he tried to get him to talk about the Vietnam War, he'd always climb up instantly. Always climb up, get very sad. He'd almost take him right back to where he was in Vietnam, right back there. All the friends he'd lost and shit. He didn't want to talk about it at all. Really didn't want to talk about it at all. So that goes to show, like, people that actually have experienced those type of things don't really want to brag about it, let alone in the book. Do you know what I mean? It's something that you probably keep close to your chest. You share with people that obviously maybe have gone through the same thing. You might not even share it with your fucking family, but you're not going to use it to sell fucking, you know, ebooks and courses on motivation and leadership.
We really might only be at the tip of the iceberg, despite how much stuff has already been brought forward. Like I said, go to my Instagram account and you will be able to see just ridiculous claims, ridiculous posts. And I have an update on Tim's little kids story that we will get into. But first, before we do that, Brent, Tyler was gone, but Brent on Thursday night had their live cast, their every Thursday night live cast. I like watching those. For the first time ever, I did a super chat with them. It was really cool. Had a blast sitting in my hot home, still no AC, but I was enjoying it. There's a lot in there. I'm going to encourage you all to go back and watch the whole thing. There was one part that really stood out to me. I'm going to throw this up on the screen here. And this is Brent kind of telling a story, teasing what might be coming. And this is directly related to Tim's time in Afghanistan. Not deployed. This is during the fall of Afghanistan. This came towards the end of the live cast. I'm going to play the clip in full. We're going to pause it a couple times, and then we'll get what Tim said. We'll get what Brent said and the whole thing. I think this clip is more than worth your time, worth watching. I think this clip really sums up the ridiculousness of the situation, of the narratives that have been put out there. But enough for me. Let's watch the Antihero podcast from their Thursday night live stream. Brent is dressed up. It was an episode about the founding fathers. Very fun, very engaging.
Come on, guy, get to the point. Get to the point.
See what's said.
See what we got. Actually, it's one more thing I want to talk about, and I bet it's that last video right there. Okay, here we go.
Not every mission went well. You know, we were bringing in some buses through Blackgate, and there was a miscommunication, and a commander at that gate wouldn't let those buses in, and everybody thought that it was me, like that Tim Kennedy was the one that had set all of these buses up. This was absolutely our operation, but guess who are the people that were making the calls to link up? This is at the highest level of government, right? Like the most elite commanders on the planet are saying who's getting on these things and trying to communicate that down to a ground captain or a ground light colonel that's coming from like a 4-star joint level is where wires get crossed, right? And so these buses get kicked back out into the city, and you know all those people got tortured and killed by the Taliban. But you didn't have time. Not every mission went well. You know, we were bringing
Tim Kennedy's a wild boy, man.
All right, so that right there is the setup for what Brent is going to analyze here. That is the claim. That's an extraordinary claim.
It's super
That's
sugar.
A pretty serious claim. 7 full bus loads of people allegedly tortured and murdered because a colonel wouldn't let them in.
Like, fucking hell, bro. Like, are you sure that happened? Like, you're putting... That's a wild allegation.
Tim's story seems fairly cut and dry, fairly simple. He would certainly never lie about such a thing. He certainly would not omit facts from it. He certainly wouldn't twist the truth. No, Tim wouldn't do that. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and see what Brent has to say about this extraordinary claim from Tim. Let's go ahead and watch that right now.
Buses through Blackgate.
Let's talk about that just real quick. I've been on some phone calls of people who were a part of that, and let's shed some light on that real quick.
Okay, let's see what happened. What actually happened?
Of course you weren't a part deeply of that, because you were there barely for 24 hours. So there's no way you could have been deeply a part of anything.
Jesus
You hopped
Christ.
on something.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ.
Starting to unravel. 24 hours. That's a big difference from what I believe Tim's previous claims have been, and I believe was also discussed in this podcast about it being days and days, possibly 10 days, an extended period of time. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what comes next.
That would have been a great photo op, and ended up being something that blew up in your face. There was a massive security threat that you wouldn't have known about because you're not tied into anything and you were barely there. But they knew there was a massive security threat of suicide bombers. And everyone who came on that tarmac had white wristbands or indicators of some sorts that they had come through the checkpoint.
Okay.
When it was found out that these guys essentially smuggled 7 busloads of people, and they were trying to get on planes with no wristbands, which means they did not get checked in any way, a colonel came up and had questions. Why wouldn't you have questions for the security of the base that you're in charge of? And if someone would have probably had a cooler head and talked to this colonel and said, hey, this is what's going on. This is who these people are. Let's just talk about it. Tim Kennedy basically had this, do you know who I am moment?
Let me pause it right there real quick. Does that surprise anybody? Does that surprise a single person listening? Very interesting. Let's continue.
And inserted himself and pissed off the colonel. And so the colonel basically was like, well, do you know who I am, what rank I have, and what I can do? And sent the buses back. You want to be a dick? That's what happens. And so Tim Kennedy inserted himself and
powerful bunch.
We got Theodore.
Tim is deeply insecure. Special forces in the military and a UFC fighter, and still bullshits.
That's the thing, like, he's such an impressive guy, but so insecure. That's why him and Brendan probably have a lot of, in common, why they're so friendly with each other. Think about it. Because Brendan's the same. Brendan's pretty accomplished, given how redacted and unathletic he is. He's done quite, a decent amount in his short time in life. At least stuff that you would be happy to brag about, but it's still not enough. He still has to embellish. He still has to fucking sprinkle some fucking spice to make it sound a bit more exciting, Very, very strange people like that. Like, have decent accomplishments, but still not enough. Still need to lie. Still need to fucking lie.
Whole situation. Not my words, other people's words. But here's the craziest part of this whole story. He said they got sent back out and tortured and killed. You want to know what happened to all of those people in the buses that were turned around?
Absolutely.
They were eventually put on planes.
Oh.
And they made it back to wherever they were going just fine.
So nobody got tortured and killed then? The people in the buses didn't get dragged out, lined up against the wall and all shot in the head. Is that what you're trying to say? That didn't happen.
All right, let me pause it there again. Let's react to this a little bit. This is the thing with facts and documentation and eyewitness accounts and record keeping. When you say one thing, if it's easily enough fact checked, even if it comes years later, it'll blow up in your face. That's just the way the world works.
So yeah, big up this guy, man. Really good channel. What's his name? David HOOKSTEAD. Check him out. David HOOKSTEAD, an ANTIHERO pod. I guess he's doing reviews and little clip reactions of the ANTIHERO podcast, similar to what I'm doing with Brendan, I'm guessing. So check him out. Decent little channel. Check him out. Decent little channel there. Let's go back to Brendan. He may never financially recover from this lawsuit. Apologia, COMEDIA. Let's see what this is. Let's see his interpretation of the whole lawsuit thing. Let's see what they say here. I think it's always good. To be fair, I take umbrage with the title. I think Brendan's dad. I think Joe Rogan will never let Brendan fail, so I think he'll be fine. He'll always land on his feet. He'll always fail upwards. So I don't think he's ever going to have to work in Trader Joe's. I think he'll be perfectly okay. He'll survive this. If Brian could survive, get the rape allegation and pay 2 bits of alimony and also look after his new family, and he didn't look like he was suffering at one time, I think Brendan will be fine too.
Now that the latest lawsuit against Brendan Schaub has gone public, his recent behavior is starting to make a lot more sense. The sudden shaved head of a person clearly going through an existential crisis, the vague mentions of hard times.
I don't want my kids to be like, have that story.
I don't think there's a shaved head existential crisis. I think the shaved head is just him not realizing how hot it will be in Texas. That's why he also doesn't have that much facial hair. I think it's just he's clearly suffering from the heat, and he's probably been surprised by how warm it is because he wasn't really prepared. He didn't really have any knowledge of how hot it would be before he went there. That's why he shaved his head. I don't think it's a Britney Spears style thing.
Went in there in their 20s, like, yeah, we grew up in this dope fucking crib around the lake, and something happened. And
Now
we moved
I'm
in this
in a-
apartment.
yeah, no,
and my
that's
dad
true.
sold all his cars.
And the emotionally loaded move to Austin.
You going through a tough time? And I was like, I just moved to Austin, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find my way. I'm heartbroken.
If his career...
Hold on. What do you say about the lake thing, by the way? What do you say about the buying the house on the lake?
The vague mentions of hard times.
But I don't want my kids to be like, have that story when they're in their 20s, like, yeah, we grew up in this dope crib around the lake, and then something happened. And
Now
we
I'm
moved to
in
this
a,
apartment.
yeah.
So living in an apartment is obviously the worst thing that could ever happen to him and his family. He needs to live in an oversized, fucking mansion, right, for the optics. But if they do ever have to go back to a mansion and that's his, his path in life, what's the problem with that? But most likely, if they do end up back there, it'll be solely for his own wrongdoing, no? He's the sole provider of his household. He's the sole breadwinner. If it does go wrong, he's to blame. And most likely, if it does go wrong, it'll be because of something he said or did that's going to fuck up the entire family and make them have to move and downgrade their lifestyle, whatever it may be. Pull them out of their fucking fancy private school. Have, Joanna having to sell her Balenciaga. So he's worrying about it, but it's really in his control. If he stops being a redact, if he stops being a douchebag, if he stops being a bully, a liar, a cheat, he'll be fine. But, those things are hardwired in his code and his DNA, so it's probably hard to change. But it's odd that he's like, doom-mongering when he's the one that's responsible for the doom. Like, just stop being a fucking dickhead, you'll be fine.
No, my dad sold all his cars.
And the emotionally loaded move to Austin.
You going through a tough time? And I was like, I just moved to Austin, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find my way. I'm heartbroken.
If his career was the Titanic, the ship's already at the bottom of the ocean, and Brendan's just clinging to a floating door waiting for the inevitable, to follow his career into the cold, dark abyss. The civil lawsuit was filed by the very CBD company he was once a partner in. Now, to be fair, Brendan hasn't responded yet, so none of this is confirmed fact, just alleged by the plaintiff, and according to the suit, among other things, they're going after him for breach of contract. Allegedly, Schaub pocketed over $300,000 while failing to deliver on his end of the business deal, while also claiming Brendan hijacked the company's customer email list to drum up positive reviews for his special, You'd Be Surprised. And when
I still don't understand that email listing. I still don't get why you would ask a sponsor to help you combat bad reviews of your stand-up special. What does your special have to do with them? Why should they get involved? I don't understand that logic jump that he made. Like, if I was the owner, I'd be like, why would I get involved in this? Like, it's got nothing to do with me.
Up in his face, he reportedly tried to blame the company, pretending he had nothing to do with it. Unfortunately for him, recently released text messages tell a different story. We'll break down the lawsuit and how it's poetic justice, considering Brendan once sued a small YouTuber for making fun of him. But first, let's rewind to how it all started. Back in 2018, a guy named Brady...
Big up, what's that? Big up Dana Black. Joanne's going to divorce him, mark my words. I'm willing to bet a lot of money that she's never going anywhere, man. I think you guys are really delusional if you think she's going to leave. Like, that woman ain't going anywhere. That woman is not going anywhere. She lives such a great life with Brendan. They both are perfect for each other. She doesn't demand much of him as a husband or as a father. He doesn't demand much of her as a wife or as a fucking mother. They're perfect for each other. They both are vapid, materialistic, shallow. Honestly, they're not going anywhere. Especially her. She always wanted to be like a Kardashian. She's always had a very inflated sense of self. She talks about herself on the stories like she's some big celebrity that paparazzi are following her around. Like, she's got a very strange, she's got delusions of grandeur, and Brendan kind of gives her the right to have those delusions of grandeur, because without Brendan, a woman like her with 3 kids, where else would she be? Who else would she be with? So that lifestyle that she lives is not guaranteed that she get that anywhere else. There's not a lot of men who could afford that lifestyle with money, who would want to go with a woman that's like in her mid-30s with 3 kids. It doesn't work that way. She's every year that goes by, she kind of, unfortunately, I guess, prices herself out of the fucking market. The richer you are, the more likely you are. Especially if you're into that type of girl, you're gonna go for them younger and younger. You're gonna maybe go for them if they don't have any kids and shit. So I don't think she's going anywhere. I think they've got a perfect situation going on. And to be fair, Brendan's done a lot of stuff anyway in the past to embarrass her super hard, and she's never left. So if she's never left back then, why would she leave now?
Bell, part owner of the CBD company Pure Spectrum, handed Brendan a golden ticket. Bell offered Schaub a 10% stake in the company, no heavy lifting required. All Brendan had to do was the bare minimum: a few social media posts, show up to a couple events, and toss in some podcast mentions.
I have some stuff going on. I have some joint issues and some other stuff.
CBD will help with that.
She told me. She told.
I got you.
You brought it, Charlotte's Web.
It's Pure Spectrum. It's the best CBD on the planet.
Is that what's the brand?
Pure
Spectrum is the name of the brand.
Yeah.
And she told me to ask you for that.
Yeah. Let me talk to one of the owners.
Did you just talk to them?
I'm one of the owners.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you started your own brand. Did you buy into it, or did you form this company with them?
They formed it, and then I came in as a fourth partner.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So you brought it?
Huh?
You brought it, I'm going to try it out?
I'm going to bring it. I forgot it. But I got the best for you. I got the best for you.
Okay.
We don't live far from each other. I can go get it and come back.
Okay. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's the least I can do.
But in classic Brendan fashion, not only did he burn the bridge, he left it irreparable. Instead of being a brand ambassador, he was a liability. Not only did he allegedly fail to uphold his end of the agreement, but his involvement may have actively hurt the company more than it helped.
CBD company, they were doing this marketing. I said, hey, my friends are the funniest comedians in the world. Give me whatever marketing budget you have for the next 2 months. Let me do my thing with my guys.
By the way, whoever approved that should be fired too. Whoever approved Brendan to be in charge of the marketing budget for Pure Spectrum, that he then went and quote unquote invested in his friends, you did a bad job. That was a bad call.
Okay, so I hired Chris D'Elia, Andrew Santino, Fahim, Derek Poston.
I love Derek.
Yep, Asana Ahmad, and Brian Callen.
Great.
And I had them come in. I gave them an outline. Oh, and Michael Rappaport. And I gave them an outline of what I wanted to do. And go, we're just gonna freestyle this. You can get paid, and we're just gonna do this. And we did 3 commercials.
To me, it feels like Brendan was just in over his head. He's an athlete, not a businessman. Take away the Rogan bump and we're not even having this conversation. Without Joe, Brendan's name probably fades into UFC trivia. But he rode the...
Really good point. Really fucking good point. And it's funny because he's the one person who probably owes the most of... No, he's the one person of everyone in the Jerry universe, in the Jerry extended universe, who probably owes the entirety of their success to Rogan. I think other comedians could argue they were doing their thing. They got a nice little push with Rogan. He exposed them to a bigger audience. But Brendan is solely reliant on Rogan being his friend. Rogan being close to him, right? Rogan have given him this talk on the podcast. Because you think if he didn't have a Rogan in his life, where would he be right now? You know? There's no way he gets to where he is now without a Rogan bump. No way. But then he's also the most... I wouldn't say... He's also the most... disrespectful, I guess, to the blessing. He doesn't really honor it that well, right? He's done many fumbles along the way that have kind of taken the piss out of the chance blessing encounter that he's had to meet someone like Rogan at his stage of his career. And as he's ascending, as he's doing his thing and becoming one of the biggest voices in media, that happens to be one of your close friends, but you still don't take it. You took it for granted, essentially, you know? He took all of it for granted. Even though he owes all of his success to Rogan, he doesn't really act like it, which is strange, which is really, really strange. He comes across more like, or he says stuff that makes you believe that he thinks that he got there by himself, you know? He pulled himself up by his bootstrap. He's the one that's the master of his own destiny. It's like, no, not really, though. Like, without Rogan, you would be nowhere. Let's be real.
The Rogan Sphere wave turned it into a podcast, and suddenly companies like Pure Spectrum saw dollar signs. I feel like they figured, hey, this guy's tight with Rogan. Maybe he'll plug our product on one of his JRE appearances and we'll blow up overnight. But what they didn't realize was Brendan might have been the worst possible person to hitch their wagon to.
Exactly, because I think they... To be fair to Pure Spectrum, this is also before the subreddit was really booming. There was no reference, there was no place to find out that Brendan was full of shit. On podcast, the way he's, you know, he kind of rabbits all of Rogan's motivational talking points. He's around those guys. So you just assume because he's around those guys and he's doing the same sort of thing, that he's got the same sort of like hustle. He's got the same sort of work ethic and shit. He's entrepreneur, like whatever, right? He's professional. But in actuality, he's not. It's all a scam, right? It's all a front to look a certain way. But when push comes to shove, he doesn't really do it. And again, think about all the times when Schaub has said that he's a hard worker, right? I did this, I bust my ass, and people don't know how hard this is. Haters could never fathom running this fucking media organization, this company, right? When in actuality, that lawsuit has proved that even from the beginning, he was just a lazy fuck that got everything handed to him and still found a way to fuck it up.
What is this?
Yeah, so this is a script that I rewrote. We're
Okay.
just playing ourselves.
Guy playing ourselves.
Yeah.
But I don't like the wording here. Like the word, like
Which
this is
part?
angry, uptight, jerk.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. You know who I am in real life.
Yeah, you're great. So then, like, you're doing your thing. You're being Michael
What
Rappaport.
thing? What thing? You say thing. What thing?
This. I just need you to be Michael Rappaport. And
I'm
then
being
so-
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Do we not speak like when there's cameras not around? Do we not have a friendship?
Yeah, we're boys.
Right. So
You're so aggressive.
what are you talking about?
I'll bring in the Pure Spectrum CBD.
Right.
And then I just drop it in your mouth like a little baby bird. You take it and then you just...
It chills me out.
You're good.
Okay, so at what point do you want me to chill? You know what? I don't like the way this is going. And you see this?
Yeah.
Your words? See this? This is called
This
walking
is
off
good.
the set.
This is
Did
perfect.
that hurt you hitting
Yeah.
your chest?
Why you're here, bro.
No, why
This
I'm
is-
here is I'm walking off the set, so I'm
Yeah,
not here.
That's good.
Now I'm
Keep
gone.
playing that character. That's what I like. The angry guy. Hell yeah, dude.
Imagine how much he got paid for this shit. Imagine how much he got paid for this shit, this skit that the Pure Spectrum marketing team could have never came up with. Imagine how much he got. Fucking hell.
Larry Bird's angry brother. That's perfect, man.
According to the lawsuit, Brendan was handed 10% of Brady Bell's personal stake in Pure Spectrum, and the terms were laughably simple. Post 5 Instagram stories a month, drop 2 static posts on all social platforms.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that bit actually. So the 10% he was given, oh, that's why maybe Brady Bell fell out with the rest of the board. Maybe he wasn't, yeah, I wonder if that's the reason why he fell out with the board. Oh my God, look how scummy. So Brady Bell gets introduced to Brendan through Rogan. Maybe Brady Bell wants to eventually get Rogan to do business with him, but he thinks if he butters up Rogan by getting on Brendan's good side, whatever. He hooks up Brendan with a very great deal where he gives Brendan a part of his ownership, 10% of his stake in the company, plus whatever salary he was getting, right? Plus commission. Base salary plus commission. Crazy. And the commission was a percentage of all sales of Pure Spectrum, not just his code. Think about that. It wasn't just Brendan's code, it was all fucking Pure Spectrum affiliate codes. And then when it goes north and the other board members want to initiate a hostile takeover of Pure Spectrum, they contact Brendan to get him to pretend that he still owns the 10% that he got from Brady Bell. So Brendan wasn't even loyal to the guy that sold him on or gave him his own 10% ownership of the fucking brand. And he then stabbed him in the back like not once but twice. Oh, what a horrible dude Brendan is, man. God almighty. I'm just figuring this out now in real time. The guy gave you 10% of his own equity in the company and you still fucked him. Wow.
Mentioned Pure Spectrum on his podcast, that the company use his name and face for marketing, host Brady on The Fighter and the Kid, and show up to just one in-person event a year based on his own availability. That's it, the kind of contract most influencers would beg for. But despite being paid and paid well, the lawsuit claims, among other things, Brendan missed 88 out of 88 static posts. I use this site called Podscripts to search for keywords from podcast when I'm looking for a specific clip, and when I enter Pure Spectrum, I get 0 results despite CBD showing up numerous times. Of the few plugs from The Fighter and the Kid I found for Pure Spectrum was this dumpster fire.
So, you know how the CBD industry is like the Wild West? You never know what you're going to get. Right. I represent Pure Spectrum. You know exactly what you're going to get. So I ride into this lawless, like old country town, right? I'm representing Pure Spectrum. I'm the sheriff. I'm on one of them big, burly horses, right? Like a brown horse. And and then all the townsmen, they circle around me. They just all gather
Why do
around
they
me.
circle around?
Yeah, unabridged. Go to Podcast Cringe. Check out Podcast Cringe's video. He's got a video where he details the whole thing. Check out Podcast Cringe's video on it.
Because they represent the other CBD oil companies. They don't want me in there.
Okay, they're
'Cause
bad
I'm
guys.
real. They're bad guys. I'm good guy.
And they have guns?
I'm good guy. They have guns. And they take them out. And I hear one go, "Hey, sick cowboy, we don't want
Big up Noodles. Wagwan Noodles.
your kind around here." And I say, "Is that a matter of fact now?" And he goes, get on out of here. And I go,
because they don't want pure spectrum in the market.
Why would they?
According to the plaintiff, Schaub personally asked him to send out the now infamous mass email, using the company's internal customer database to promote his comedy special. The goal? Boost the embarrassingly low ratings on Showtime and IMDb, while offering a 50% discount on CBD products if you leave the kind of review Brendan deserves. 1. This could be considered violating FTC guidelines on deceptive advertising.
Jesus
the
Christ.
FTC prohibits offering incentives like discounts in exchange for positive reviews without full disclosure. If he was saying leave a good review and get 50% off, that could be considered misleading to consumers, and illegal unless it's clearly disclosed that the review was incentivized.
Jesus
But it appears they
Christ.
looked into this before the mass email, as they didn't ask for a good review, rather one Brendan deserves. 2. It could also be considered a can spam violation. If the email was sent through the CBD company's mailing list and recipients didn't consent to being contacted for comedy promotions, it likely violates can spam unless the message clearly identifies itself as a promotional ad, or if it includes the business address, or provides an opt-out, and or doesn't use deceptive headers or subject lines. If the list was built for CBD customers and not for personal entertainment content, this is unauthorized use of customer data, and likely a misrepresentation of the email's intent. The recently released text between Schaub and the plaintiff paint the full picture. Before the mass email ever went out, Brendan reached out directly saying, "Hey boss, you're deaf one of the smartest people I know, so I'm reaching out. Please keep this between us. With my new special coming out, it brings a new reason for haters to jump on me. It's been brought to my attention these idiots created a campaign to shit on my special." He goes on to compare his situation to Amy Schumer and Kevin Hart and says he spoke with IMDb directly. Oh, he refers to it as IMBD. Even the lawsuit misspells IMDb. Is this whole world gone retarded? According to Brendan, they told him the only way to fight back was to flood the site with positive reviews and rankings. It's wild how stupid Brendan thinks people are. Like it's not already painfully obvious that the special was terrible. But what's even more delusional is thinking his business partner, someone with actual skin in the game, would believe there's some grand conspiracy dedicated solely to sabotaging him. Bell responds with a prototypical business guy answer, basically stroking Brendan's ego, telling him that the haters will always go after the ones on top of the mountain, as if Brendan's standing on Everest when in reality he's clinging to a ladder at a Planet Fitness. Brendan goes on to say the whole situation is really messing with him, to the point where he can't even sleep at night. He admits that even his own friends told him to ignore it, just to let it go. But instead of taking...
Of course, let's not listen to my friends. Let's not listen to my other stand-up comedy friends who've been in the industry far longer than I have, who've also maybe had some haters along the way. You know, let's just focus in on the haters. Let's try and fucking fight fire with fire. Let's not develop thicker skin, right? Let's really try our best to counteract this fucking this mob of haters who hate me for no reason, by the way. Let's not look in the mirror and see what I'm doing to piss people off. Let's not even consider that I might be the one in the wrong. Let's just focus on fighting fire with fire. I'm sure that's going to work.
Taking that great advice, he doubles down and starts gaslighting Bell, telling him that the special is actually a good product. Because in Schaub's world, the problem is never the product. It's always the people. It's not that the special flopped because it was bad. It flopped because the homeless cats were out to get him. Brendan follows up, asking outright if they should just use the Pure Spectrum email list. Not long after, the now infamous message goes out, offering the 50% discount on Pure Spectrum products to anyone who leaves Brendan the kind of review he deserves. And it didn't take long for the backlash to roll in. Brendan text, "Yikes, email plan backfired. Showtime called. Not happy. Said we can't pay for positive reviews. Don't send or respond to any more." Classic Brendan. No accountability, no spine. When it all hit the fan, he didn't step up and take the blame. Instead, he threw his own team under the bus, telling Showtime, "I had to tell them that you guys were just trying to have my back and I wasn't aware of the positive reviews." Just imagine that. Beg your business partner to help you out of a self-inflicted PR crisis, and when the blowback comes, you're the fall guy while Brendan attempts to moonwalk away from the wreckage. And the worst part, it didn't even work. The email blast didn't boost reviews. It amplified the ridicule. It drove even more people to IMDb, DB, but not to sing Brendan's praises, to roast his special into oblivion. Even the folks just looking to cash in on the CBD discount couldn't bring themselves to lie. You'd think that after Showtime came down on him for the mass email stunt, Brendan would tread lightly, maybe even take a step back and reflect. But nope, just a few weeks later he was already scheming again, cooking up another genius plan to combat the ever-mounting hate from the homeless cats. So instead of trying something new, or nothing at all, he suggested they do the exact same thing again. Yo, have an idea. Just to combat the hate we got from the special. Maybe we can blast out to the entire email list my Comedy Central piece on YouTube. No offers, no discount, but just so it shows support in the same way. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense, in the same way driving off a cliff twice makes sense. We're like getting shocked from sticking a fork in a light socket and thinking, Alright, round 2.
Exactly.
But this time, let's try it with a knife. It's honestly hard to understand how Pure Spectrum didn't spot the red flags early on, or why they thought Brendan was ever a good fit to
Probably clout, innit? That proximity to Rogan, man. The amount of people
represent their brand in the first place.
that proximity to Rogan got it off. So I'm probably thinking Brady Bell just wanted to be Rogan's friend or Brendan's friend really bad and just overlooked all of the obvious red flags. Or he's just a bit of an idiot himself, business-wise as well. You know, that's not what he's doing either. But Jesus Christ, man. Jesus fucking Christ.
And I get on my horse. And I'm thinking slow motion. As I'm on the horse, right? Like I'm going and there's like smoke and the town's blowing up behind me like this. And then my horse
is the town blowing up though? Aren't the innocent people there?
Yeah, big up Why Not and Fender Man about the lawsuit going, you know, this won't go anywhere. I don't think it matters if it doesn't go anywhere. I think it's just the embarrassment and the exposing of the thing that most of us already knew. That most likely that Brendan's been a scammer kind of guy from the very beginning. You know, everyone finding that out was the worst bit. Even if this does get settled out of court or it gets dropped, it doesn't matter. It's more so the embarrassment of knowing how terrible he must be at business, how insecure he is, thin-skinned he is, and how it's been going on for a long time, since the very beginning. Since the very beginning of his kind of career online or in content or in comedy, he's always been like this. So it kind of makes you look at all the other allegations, all the other accusations, all the other stories, all the other theories. It kind of puts a lot more weight to it, because now you're like, okay, cool. If he did this with Pure Spectrum back then, imagine what was going on as of late, you know? So I don't think it matters if it goes through or not. It's already super embarrassing as it is.
There? No, they ran during the shootout. Because I heard one girl in the saloon go, "Oh, that's a thick-ass cowboy." And I'm like, "You right, sweetie."
I know, but the town's...
The town, and then in slow motion, it's like, and then... And I'm looking like super smoky. And then even my horse in slow motion goes...
From my point of view, it looks like they felt obligated to stick with him. Why? Because Brendan wasn't sought out by them. He was introduced to them through the founder of On It, the supplement company Rogan is tied to. It seems to me the idea probably came straight from Rogan.
Rogan was, okay, cool. Okay. That's so, yeah. So, again, there's probably a whole group of business guys out there, like CrossFit, Christian, conservative type of guys who want to be friends with all these codtaskers. And in a way, they probably set up businesses or start coffee brands or CrossFit boxes or consultancy firms in the hopes of getting close with these guys and becoming friends with these quote-unquote high operators. I think that's what basically happens. So if you're a charlatan, you could probably get away with murder, because these guys are so desperate to get next to Rogan and a few other people.
Himself. It's like he felt bad for Brendan. He's the one who nudged Brendan out of the octagon and into podcasting and comedy in the first place. I think he feels obligated to throw Brendan a bone now and again. All Brendan had to do...
Yeah, that's my theory too. I don't even think it's a bone. I think Rogan has promised himself that he'll do everything possible to make sure Brendan doesn't have to go back to fighting, because he feels like he's the one that made him quit fighting in the first place. So that's my theory too. I've always said that. I think Rogan definitely has promised himself that. And that probably might explain why, despite all of Brendan's faux pas, all of Brendan's, I don't know what you call them, betrayals and, you know, little sneaknesses he first towards Rogan, Rogan has never kind of ditched him fully. As much as the T-Fat-K Reddit and ourselves would probably want Rogan to really ditch him, he's never really fully ditched him. Maybe we're seeing the first ditching now, because I don't think we've heard Brendan mention speaking to Rogan since he's moved to Austin. So maybe we're seeing what's actually going on now, but... yeah, I think Rogan definitely looks out for Brendan as much as possible, because he feels bad about that "you'd be surprised" conversation.
According to the plaintiff, was a few social media posts, show up to a couple events, and toss in a podcast mention or two. But instead, he torched the whole thing. Burnt the bridge to On It, to Pure Spectrum, and maybe even to Rogan himself. He took an easy, well-paying gig and somehow managed to get sued. Brendan is the opposite of King Midas.
Exactly.
Everything he touches turns to garbage.
Exactly.
And for whatever reason, whether it was pressure, loyalty, or just sheer disbelief that Brendan was actually serious, instead of shutting down the second mass email idea, Bell responded with, "Yeah, perfect, nothing crazy, just like, hey team, Pure Spectrum's own is on Comedy Central, check it out." It's like watching someone hand a toddler matches after they already lit the curtains on fire the first time. like they were still pretending this was a normal brand partnership and not a slow-motion PR implosion. However, according to the plaintiff, even after all the drama, the failed promotions, the mass emails, the bad PR, Brendan was still failing to uphold his end of the agreement. It got to the point where Pure Spectrum had no choice but to begin negotiations over a potential breach of contract. After months of back and forth, in March 2021, Schaub and Bell finally agreed to end their business partnership. Brendan dissolved his 10% equity back to Bell and in return agreed to a 12-month non-compete clause. It seemed like an easy out. No more obligations, no more damage control. All Brendan had to do was not endorse another CBD product for a year. But in true Schaub fashion, he couldn't even pull that off. Just 2 months later, in May 2021, the lawsuit alleges Brendan violated the non-compete by publicly endorsing and promoting a competing CBD brand.
Of course
he did. A direct
did.
rival of Pure Spectrum. The ink wasn't even dry on the exit agreement before he was already posting for the competition. After promoting the rival CBD company, Brendan was issued a cease and desist letter, a clear warning to stop violating the non-compete agreement he had just signed. But according to the lawsuit, he ignored it. He kept promoting the competition like nothing had happened. Then went even further off the rails. The suit alleges that Brendan actually conspired with individuals who orchestrated an illegal coup to remove Bell from his position as CEO of Pure.
And imagine, this is the same Bell that gave him his own part. It gave him a piece of his own, ownership, stake in the company to Brendan. Not sure why he did that, but he gave him 10% out of his own stake in the company. And he still went behind his back. Fucking hell.
Pure Spectrum. According to the filing, Brendan was offered $100,000 in exchange for falsely claiming that he still owned 10% of the company, despite dissolving his equity months earlier, and for agreeing to vote in favor of Bell's removal.
By the way, scamming does work, innit? Being a good person's kind of shitty because he's, it's many years have passed since this has happened, right? He still got paid $100K. He'll most likely still get away with this anyway. He'll have to pay a fine. The fine won't be more than whatever he's earned lifetime wise from Pure Spectrum. So if you think about it, as CoffeeZilla said, like, crime definitely does pay. Crime is definitely legal nowadays. Like, if you're not scamming, if you're not fucking defrauding somebody, if you're not finessing somebody, you're basically a bit of an idiot. Because most people, especially the ones at the top, especially the ones who talk about how hard they work, they're essentially scammers. Right? Most people are scamming people in some respects, grifting something. Everyone's running some sort of play. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, honestly, it's really crazy.
Which, if true, speaks volumes about Schaub's character and his now undeniable anti-Midas touch. The man who gave him 10% of his own stake in the company, who helped him pull over $300,000 for practically no work, who even tried to bail him out by blasting his failing special to their customer base, that's the same guy Brendan allegedly turned on.
Exactly. Big up, why not? To be fair, Pure Spectrum guy deserves what he got. Imagine thinking giving him money to Executive Showbiz. But that's the thing, though. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair that he took a punt on Brendan. I think any other person in Brendan's position would have been so grateful, would have thanked the stars, the moon, Allah, Buddha, Jesus, everything else in between, if some random guy hit him up and said, hey, man, Aubrey Marcus said you'd be a good fit for my fucking CBD company. Here's fucking $300,000 in fucking affiliate link fucking money and a base salary and 10% ownership. Most people would do right by that. Most people would want that deal to continue for as long as possible, because that's the sort of money you can play with. That's the sort of money you don't have to fucking bust your ass for. That's the kind of money you can maybe launch different businesses for. You can buy a house with. You can put your kids through school. Like, you know what I mean? Most people would want to make that work. Wouldn't be taking a piss. So as much as that guy was, a bit dumb for banking on Rogan, it was also back then, Brendan's stock was a lot higher back then. I don't blame him for trying to, tap into that kind of market with influencers and podcasters and try to exploit it. It's just a shame he bumped into Brendan, who's like the worst person you could have ever linked up for something like that. But yeah, he shouldn't have scammed him. The guy did right by him in the first place. Like, he put some good money in your pocket. At least the least Brendan should have done was just done the fucking obligations, the thing set out for him in terms of posting and shit. That was the bare minimum. Like, come on, man. Come on. That was the bare minimum.
Just turned on, conspired against. According to the lawsuit, Brendan sided with outsiders to have Brady Bell removed from his own company by saying he still owned 10% of it. The following clip comes from episode 1000 of The Fighter and the Kid, when Brendan answered a fan's question about a lawsuit he pursued against a small YouTuber, someone who had the audacity to, well, make fun of him. To be clear, this has nothing to do with the current lawsuit against Brendan, but it does help paint a bigger picture of who he is.
In the lawsuit thing, A guy who's no longer with me, a business guy, comes to me and goes, hey man, there's this guy on YouTube. Again,
Classic Brendan, by the way, blaming somebody else. Never his fault. Blaming somebody else, the team's fault. A business guy that's no longer with me. Classic.
And I hand to God, I've never seen him. This guy who works for me, right, doing this stuff, business manager, he goes, hey man, I got a call from this lawyer. I've known him a long time. That there's this guy on YouTube. He's making thousands of videos, you know, bad mouthing you and using your content, blah, blah. And I go,
He said, I don't care.
I go, I don't care, dude. Like, there's a million of them. What are you gonna do? He goes, that's bad, man. He said you hit your kids, and I was like, comes back same thing, dude. I'm telling you, I really think we should do something, you know. And they know how to pull out my heartstring. He goes, you know, he has a rap sheet where, you know, he beat his son. It's on video on there. I'm like, whoa, all right, do what you gotta do.
That's right.
And I was told,
child abuse.
Brendan with the noble lawsuit, right? Brendan with the most noble of all lawsuits. Brendan is the noblest lawsuit, or the noblest lawsuit filer of all time.
Ready? I was told this is easy. It take 3 months. It's still going on. That was
really
3 years ago. It's still going on. But here's what people don't realize is, so they told me 3 months, and I don't know if they were in cahoots together just getting money out of me. Now, me 10 years ago, I would never. You're never gonna beat the internet. It's just, internet's gonna internet. There's nothing you can do.
Internet's gonna internet.
And at the time, like the initial cost, good amount of money, but again, at the time, whatever, your boy's balling. You know, so at the time, like, yeah, do what you got. And people don't realize this. And even if he's doing like dragging it out, it's pro bono.
How much money has he wasted on that unique lawsuit anyway? It's still going, right? How many? He's probably wasted $1 million already, isn't it? It's probably close to him. That's the thing. He's even got $1 million to spend on lawyers to try to sue Unique for defamation. That's how you know the podcast industry, the money that's involved is just crazy and has nothing to do with the level of talent or the level of entertainment or the quality of a show. It's just like an overpriced market. Maybe, in a way, right? Maybe it's kind of an overpriced market. I'm assuming the cost per the cost per user acquisition or customer acquisition is a little bit low compared to other, you know, forms of marketing, etc. But it doesn't make any sense. Like, how is he able to afford $1 million lawyer to go after Unique for a case that is basically, you know, no point in fucking pursuing still. He's still pursuing it. He's still appealing it. That goes to show you these guys make a lot more money than you think they do. But they still find a way to fucking waste it and fumble the bag.
I don't pay anymore. So if whatever issue they have with it, I couldn't tell you what's going on with it. I couldn't tell you when it's going to end. I know nothing about. I don't associate with them anymore. I couldn't tell you.
So just like in the lawsuit against a small YouTuber, Brendan runs the same playbook. Deflect, deny, and throw someone else under the bus. In that case, he claimed he was coerced into suing by his manager. And with Pure Spectrum, when Showtime came down on him for the mass email stunt, same move. He immediately pointed fingers at his team, saying it was their idea, and he had no clue they were soliciting positive reviews. It's never Brendan's fault. Not when it's a botched business deal, not when it's a PR disaster. Not even when he personally texted the plan in writing. That's all I got. Give me that old time religion!
Bloody hell, man. Plastic, exactly. It's never fucking his fault. Never, ever, ever, ever his fault. Big up Brian. Bring up Brendan. Let's see how it plays out though. Like I said, I'm not that bothered if it happens or not. Not that bothered if it doesn't, you know, if it falls flat, whatever. Not that bothered at all, slightly. I think the embarrassment of the situation is what it is. Some person actually said he can never be embarrassed because it's fucking Brendan. I get it, but still, people knowing how shitty of a fucking businessman, how terrible of a fucking, you know, collaborator he is and shit, being exposed that he was running that scam early on from the beginning of him doing this thing is also kind of embarrassing. So I think it is what it is. But hey, I could be wrong. Big up people in the stream chat. Big up everybody hanging in there. Appreciate you. Smash a like if you like the show. Hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 members by the end of the 31 days. So if you want to become a member and get access to member-only content, I think there's member-only video going out tomorrow, but we try and do at least 2 member-only streams during the week, usually daytime ones. So check those out if you want to watch those after the fact. They're usually quite jam-packed with random stuff in there, as per the title of the show, name of the show. So if you want to get access to all that stuff, make sure you become a member. A link to become a member is in the description. You can opt in for a gifted membership. You can give a gifted membership by clicking the little dollar button on the fucking chat box and shit. You get me? Cool. Blessed. Let's move on. Another one. Big up Retroactive. Big up Blood Clot Retroactive. Bert Kreischer is very red. Fires assistant hypocritically. Let's see what Retroactive is saying about Bert. Some nice Bert hate. Let's go. Nice bit of Bert hate. Let's fucking go.
We caught him on tape saying the N-word, and so we had to get rid of him. And just a friend of mine married a black chick recently, and I thought to myself, all day, every day? You're gonna spend every day with a black person? It just seems like a lot.
It's a lot. Bert gets fired from his podcast.
If it's an all-black room where I just do black jokes, and then you do that, and once you do that, you have a fucking power of attorney to do anything.
Racist jokes or racial jokes.
Racial jokes.
Saying midget is like saying...
Wait, Bert and Tom, the best comedians, would never be massive hypocrites, would they? Oh right, of course they would, my bad. Credit to XLP for that Segura N-word clip. What a cherry of BS on top. Alleged nepotism makes it even easier to hide behind that comedian can say anything label. 10 out of 10. Bert might be the biggest reddest hypocrite of all time to fire someone for what he has made millions doing. Wait Bert, what
did he actually fire somebody though? Is he just a fucking bit? I'm not sure if it's even true. It looked like he was kind of joking. I don't think it was actually true, to be fair. That he fired somebody in the office for using... I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, to be fair. I think he's just trolling.
You call your own daughters again? Please remind me.
My daughters are going to be failures compared to you. They will make no one happy. I will be shocked if they get out from under my shadow. 2 white chicks, mediocre, not even that attractive.
Your daughter?
Yeah. I don't find them hot. What am I wrong?
Oof, gonna get endless mileage out of that clip, sorry girls. It really just is the best way to sum up the Bert Kreischer problem in mere seconds for those not initiated. While his assistant is probably not black, and shouldn't say it obviously, later in the same damn podcast they say this.
It's like saying the N-word in a different language. You're still saying the N-word.
Oh, right. Can we learn the N-word in other languages? That'd be a fun one.
Ooh.
Brilliant.
I don't know why they're so obsessed with it. It's such a hacky premise, isn't it? N-word pass. And like, what is... Maybe it's an American thing, because you guys are a little bit race obsessed as well, but like, what's this obsession with the N-word anyway? I don't get it. Like, on both sides. The black people that always drop it every minute, every day. The Latino, Hispanic people that use it all the time. The young Gen Z kids that use it as a term of endearment, kinda. The way fucking, what's his name? Morgan Wallen dropped it when he was referring to his friends. White comedians, you know, fucking dancing with the devil with it because it's this big... crazy word that they can't use and they're scared. Like, I don't understand. It's just what is this obsession with this word? Like, god damn it.
Guys, just brilliant. Only mediocre hacks who grew up allegedly supported by daddy can do race jokes, okay? Don't forget it. Meanwhile, Bert's whole career when he's not telling alleged stories full of lies, so the remaining 5 to 10% of his onstage material is usually edgy. Producing or assistant staff would be seen as lower class, and the moment podcasts can be entirely done by a Tesla bot, you can bet your future on Tom and Bert buying 20 more than they need. At the end of the day, Bert profits off the same kind of boundary pushing that got this guy fired. He did the same thing with trying to get a mum fired for telling him to stop drinking at one of his daughters.
Oh yeah, okay, this is a true story. Remember we spoke about it. This is a wild story. Fucking insane.
Fashion show for the school, and we were with the dads and fucking having a good time. We were having some beers, and one of the ladies in charge of the fashion show came in and yeah, you're done drinking. And I went, absolutely fucking not. I said, you are not my flight attendant, so you can leave now or go get me another beer. And then that woman got fired.
Jesus. Of course he went. I'm sure he went to remind him, by the way. It wasn't like they had that interaction. I think he followed up and got that woman fired. He was just being responsible because he was like, obviously, like, if someone has to tell you that's enough drinks, you're probably really fucked up, you know? That's the thing that he's not understanding. If someone has to tell you something like that, it's probably because you are fucking wrecked. But of course, you know, Bert has to Bert, and you got really offended because I think that happens with addicts, I'm assuming. When you point out they're clearly doing too much, they get very, very defensive. And unfortunately for that flight attendant or that person, they met Bert, who has, you know, enough power, clout, whatever, money to actually fuck them over. And he did.
Point being, it's not his first time throwing around his redness to squash civilians. Very Eric Griffin of him. Mr. Head himself tried to get a Lyft driver fired
Hey, big up my video being featured. Big up ASON. AZ America had this thing called slavery. There's a whole civil war about it. It makes it a very touchy subject. No, I know America had slavery, but if anything, the slavery reason, in my normal dumb head, would make you guys way more careful about the word and not that interested in using it. You know, it's the same thing like Germans and Nazis and shit. They don't really talk about, you know, they don't really tolerate any of that speak, obviously, but they don't really kind of like dance around with like the word or the term or whatever, or rewriting history. They just kind of ignore it and pretend it didn't happen because it's such an embarrassing part of their history. But it seems like Americans, like, although it's an embarrassing part of your history, an important part of your history, it's touchy. There's a lot of, you know, emotion. There's a lot of pain still associated with it. Motherfuckers still can't stop talking about it, you know? That's the weird thing about it to me. But hey, I could be wrong.
a Mr. Potato Head comment. The truth is, many of them are sensitive Karens at their core. Tom Segura's poor people rant at the nice airport lady dropping C-bombs and all didn't prove that at all. Joe Rogan's friends are great people, mate. What did you expect? The newest two bears really proves how in touch they all are. There's definitely not many layers of irony and coping going on here. Bert finally explains why his comment section thinks he's turning into Santa Claus.
How do you feel after having 16 feet of your intestines removed?
Red. I feel really red today.
You do? That's crazy.
God, I'm red today. Like, I know I get shit for being red a lot.
Yes, yeah.
But man, I just got out of the sauna, just got out of the gym, and I am looking at myself.
It's just sauna and exercise, guys.
I love how he makes that excuse. Like, bro, you don't look at that because of sauna and exercise. Like, you look at that because you drink more booze than you drink probably water.
Guys, it's not his liver doing an SOS sign as we fly over. No emergency, everybody. You can relax now. Bert is the picture of health. You are all delusional haters. Red just means Bert can go faster, obviously. It is the best color. That's alright though, as it gets worse. Bert pulls out the glaze of the millennia.
You got how many specials out there?
5. It'll be 6 soon.
So many people have gone through loss and hardship and heartbreak and depression and probably thought to themselves, maybe I should unalive myself today. And then they saw Ball Hog and they went, you know what? I'm going to give it another day. And then who knows how that person's just keeping themselves alive has changed.
Tom Segura is a great guy because Ball Hog probably helped someone decide to keep living. Wow. Just incredible the levels of meta-coping we're getting here. What a day. These two really have done so much for society. Thank you, Borton Tim.
Big up Jack Donaghy Jr. Black people in the US, particularly those in the media, use it constantly. And since black culture is the crest of the culture wave, that means all the youth use it. Yeah, true. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point.
What would we do without you? The best part is the DMV story. Bert sees regular people for the first time in a while, outside of his audience, and can barely stand the sight.
I don't really read comments, but I know that people say me and you are out of touch and that we've changed. And I would fight that tooth and nail. I am the same Bert you've known.
That's a strange preface, isn't it? I don't read comments, but I know exactly what. Let me just mention a comment that I see a lot. Let me preface that I don't read comments, but I have seen comments that say this, which means I've probably seen a lot of comments that say this.
Since day one. And then the other day, I went to the DMV and I realized I have not been around these people in a very long time. I am out of touch. That is...
Looking around that room, it's the bottom of the barrel, dude.
I am the healthiest person in this room. I've showered the most in this room.
But it's all good, everyone. Bert doing his DMV papers himself and skipping the celebrity-only service keeps him grounded and in touch.
That's when I'm no longer in touch.
As the comments said, Bert fits...
That's when they said, I think Rogan used to do that, right? Remember Rogan? Rogan used to always say that the way he stays in touch, the way he stays grounded is by doing stand-up. Going to comedy clubs is how he stays grounded because there's regular people there. Oh, these comedians are fucking so funny, man. So fucking funny. I love that they actually believe what they say too. They actually think what they're saying is super insightful, interesting, You know, it cuts at the core of the issue. You know, it gets to the core of the issue. Sorry, illuminating. You know, it's really they really do believe their own nonsense.
It's their regular customer to a T. And then we have the story with his daughter about eggs. Now that's a real hellscape.
And Isla goes, yo, calm down. And I was like, no, I'm not going to calm down. I've never seen you make an egg. I've never seen you eat an egg. And you're telling me you can make an egg? And she was like, Dad, it's easy. A fucking monkey can make a scrambled egg. I go, make me a fucking egg. And so we're fighting right now about
over the eggs. Wow.
Yeah.
Bert's admittedly rarely around, and I doubt he can cook eggs. Nor would he himself. Bert either has a chef or has Leanne do literally everything for him. I'm sure that's fun to deal with for all involved. And then the 1% cope Bert hits with on top.
If you're listening to this, you are a 1%er, in my opinion.
I like that. It feels good.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if you're not, just tell yourself you are.
Yeah.
1%.
Oh, so I guess he's saying this as a way to kind of defend himself from the criticism for the fans. He's saying you guys can't criticize me because you're just as bad as me. If I'm disconnected, if I'm not grounded, if you know, I think that's what he's saying, right?
Percenter.
And if right now you're going, no, Bert.
What Bert's really doing with that line, arguably, is deflection via flattery. By saying if you're in the 1%, if you're watching this, he's shifting the audience's attention away from his own elite status, making you feel rich or fortunate, thus minimizing class resentment. Roughly 75% of the world has a smartphone, yet can live in poverty, so it doesn't really work. Bert's just mad the internet thinks he's allegedly a rich kid. Really though, look at him, he's doing great.
What if she hadn't had that phone out?
You whore. Can kick in her window. I'd wait till she tried to get out of her car. Then I'd kick her door so it crushed her skull and then unalive the out of her. Fuck.
Good thing for phones.
His own back is trying to escape now. That's good. And yeah, that's Bert filling us in on how he's a great guy with zero road rage, who only is nice because he's on camera during the interaction and has more to lose. Every week he gets more and more likable. Again, we return to the sauna lie.
I was in the sauna today, and if I laugh, my cheeks get red.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, fuck. And then I look at my hand next to my face, and I'm like, this doesn't look normal.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I don't know, man. Is booze actually that tasty anyway? Is booze even that tasty to let yourself get to that level? Like, this is understandable if you're like an actual alcoholic, if you're an actual bum, if you're like a working class guy, you know, who's just trying to get through life and you hate your job and you come back home and you just drown your sorrows. I get it. It's not constructive. It's not, you know, a good long-term plan, but I get it. But when you're like a multi-millionaire stand-up comedian who's been living life on easy street since you were in high school, you spent fucking 7 years in college, you've had the dad that's had money, you grew up in a nice place, you went to a great family. Like, why would you do this yourself? It's kind of embarrassing. It makes sense if you live in fucking Section 8 housing, you're down in the dumps, you're a regular middle class, working class person, just trying to get through life. But being a multi-millionaire and doing this yourself, doing this your body, is really embarrassing. It's really fucking embarrassing. It's almost taking for granted all the blessings you've been given, just spitting in the face of all the hard work your parents and forefathers did before you. It's kind of insane when you think about it. Like, I have so much sympathy and empathy for people who end up like this, who weren't dealt with the best cards in life, you know, who maybe got divorced, lost everything through a fucking bitter divorce, through maybe going bankrupt and shit, no kids around. I don't know, you end up in this sort of space. I get it. I have a lot of sympathy for you. On a good day, if I have any cash on me, I might give you some money if I walk past you. But a multi-millionaire comedian who has access to all the best people, all the best resources, doing this to themselves voluntarily, there's no way this is a good thing. And like I said, there's no I don't know. At some point, booze has to get boring, no? He's been drinking like this since he was in college. It has to get boring at some point. Are you going to be into it at the same level that you were in college? Like, he probably still does beer pongs and beer kegs and, you know, like, bro, you're nearly 60 and you look like this. Disgraceful, really.
Oh yeah, you look way redder than your hands. Jesus.
Oh my God, the rest of my body?
Bert has read every single appearance he makes anywhere now, but he can't accept what it might be. I mean, alcoholism and high blood pressure usually show up as lovely clear skin, so I'm not sure what it is really. At the core of it all is hypocrisy, and Bert probably doubled down on that being around Rogan. It's just like Rogan claiming to foster a nurturing environment for comedians at the mothership, but Tim Dillon ruined that of course for Joe by exposing the truth as many of us saw. If a new comic bombs, Rogan allegedly boots them out of the universe. It really is Rogan's recent crowning moment of hypocrisy. Oh right, the joke thievery and Carlos Mencia, maybe second. Yet Rogan himself routinely talks about the importance of failing on stage, how bombing is necessary. The comedians need space to grow, so I'd make that space and we'd all lift each other up and blah blah blah.
And then we walk back in the green room, Rogan goes, he's bombing, man. He can't be here. And I go, I know, I'm getting him off right now. And I literally,
only if you're in the club, and only if you have allegations or lawsuits or act like Bert can you survive in this game. Jared Leto, D'Elia, Diaz, Callan, Jeff Frost, Russell Brand, and many more making up the allegation squad, and Brendan Schaub, of course, master of the universe of the lawsuit squad. It's basically a class divide with—
Rogan still hasn't commented on the Jared Leto thing, by the way. Rogan still hasn't commented on the Jared Leto being accused by people of fucking being a fucking creep. He hasn't committed one bit on that. Funny.
In comedy now, the Untouchables, they can say what they want, bomb safely, podcast the hypocrisy, and the machine keeps turning. The Expendables, young comics, producers, writers, whose livelihoods are over if they misstep once, even off stage. Meanwhile, they all pretend to be great friends with Legion of Skanks or Louis C.K. in this infamous segment on HBO, who have all said exactly what got Bert's assistant fired. It's obviously the wrong thing to say around your boss, but Bert Kreischer of all people, drawing the line once again, with the things he says, is hypocrisy times a million. It's extremely similar to Nikki Glaser being disgusted by Shane Gillis's racist jokes when she made an entire career out of edgy humor. So much of the industry are hypocrites, really. Maybe now that P. Diddy is free, he can appear on the Joe Rogan Experience and Bert's podcast next to clear up his name. Just a free suggestion for the guys. Seriously, 10 out of 10 world. Of course, all that evidence is brushed aside so the diddler can be free again. Planet Earth is absolutely not corrupt. The irony that Kreischer and Rogan always say comedy's under attack. What was it Elon said?
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it's like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah. Legalize comedy.
But it's them.
He's got to be embarrassed by that era, innit? He has to look back at that era and cringe, and he has to look back at that era and cringe. Get it out of his mind. Added out of his mind. Just fucking honestly, what's that Goth MAGA, the Goth MAGA hat? He's got to look back on that era and just cringe at Elon. He has to. God almighty, embarrassing. And Trump still fucked him.
Them who attack from the inside by being sensitive gatekeepers while doing the same set for 15 years, or in Joe's case, Joke Theft City on Burn the Boats. And God, who knows where else. That's alright guys, Joe Rogan's best friend Elon just got the permits approved to allegedly have endless gas turbines destroying air quality in Memphis,
Lovely.
all for grok, all for AI. Rest in peace people's lungs. The permits say it's okay though, so no wonder Zuckerberg did his cringe "I like bows too, Joe." It's all to PR their way out of poisoning the goddamn air allegedly, as every major company plans to roll out thousands of these things, globally. Shout out XLP, his Tom Segura trust fund thumbnail is high art. The truth always is. Go give him your attention, and thank you for watching.
You know, people lose their temper, man. What are you going to do? It just happens.
Yeah.
She probably was saying some wild shit.
I might need some bad boy points, because I think I've been too good. I'm in like a goody two-shoes. I didn't know plutonium was a real rock.
Jesus Christ. Okay, anyways, what can you do? What can you fucking do? These fucking guys. These fucking guys. Okay, people, I'm gonna leave it there for now. It's approaching 6 o'clock in the morning here in London. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. We will carry on again tomorrow during the day, hopefully. A bit earlier during the day, actually. I'll try and make that up during the day. And we'll cover the gold. I need to do, because I need to do gold now. I haven't actually done the clips I was gonna do a watch along with you guys, but it's too fucking boring to watch it along with you guys. It's too fucking nauseating. So I will do it by myself, and I will watch over it and get the clips for you, and prepare the clips for you tonight. So if you haven't watched the Golden Hour episode, you'll be in for a treat. If you have watched it, we'll go over the clips again, so it'll be fun. And yeah, and maybe I'll also watch, I think, the new episode of the fucking Chin's podcast with Katie and those guys. I might do one of those as well and prepare the clips for that too. So keep an eye out for that. So that'll be happening tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in, people. Appreciate you. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good shit. Thank you for chilling. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you can. That'll be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you can. That'll be greatly appreciated. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys later today. But for now, thank you for tuning in. Take care. Be safe. Peace.